Coming front court, across the timeline with 10, knocked away, Dudley Bradley for the stop, 70-68, 3, 2, 1, Matthews off balance, off the glass, Dudley Bradley's defense did it! And ready on his second attempt. That one is no good, they battle for it, loose ball, recovered Marvin, he scores! Pushes into Hubert Davis. 8 seconds. Davis trying to get free. Over to Fox. Fox, baseline. Up for the shot. Good! Off the glass! Oklahoma calls timeout, but the game is over! The game is over! Carolina has upset number 1 Oklahoma!
Turns it over! Kenny Williams with the steal. Gets it to Barry. 17 seconds to go. Barry, Duke not fouling. Gets it to Johnson. To Pinson for the highlight. Inbounds goes deep on the right sideline to May. Holy smokes, a long three! Are you kidding me? Holy cow! Pinson gets all the way to the rim, and what a way to pick up his first field goal of the season by throwing down the tomahawk.
With 20 seconds left to play, goes back to Michael Jordan, jumper from out on the left, good! 63-62, 13, 12, 11, Georgetown with one timeout. Fred Brown looking, way to Worthy! 35! The Tar Heels are going to win the national championship!
Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. Weber front court, Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout, they're out of timeout! Technical foul! Technical foul! Brown gets it into Williams. Here comes Williams front court. Williams on the drive. Gets it back out to Head. Long outside shot. Short rebounded. May! It's over! Carolina has won the national championship! How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
That's it! Make room for 2017. The Tar Heels are the national daggum champions.
This is the Roy's Boys podcast with your host, Joshua Marlowe.
Hey everybody, and welcome you to another edition of the Roy's Boys podcast, powered by Carolina Electrical Services. Today, as we continue our preseason dive, we have noted Tar Heel journalist and author Art Chansky with us today. Art, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Nice to be with you.
I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come on here and talk with us. First things first, Carolina was picked in the preseason polls second in the ACC. Kind of came as a mild surprise to me. What did you think of Carolina's preseason prediction in the ACC?
Well, that's on brand name, and Carolina's always going to get that, just as Duke will, the nod because of their brand. But when you look at Carolina, Roy Williams, there's a couple of things. The bad news is that Roy has to be a bit of a chemist here, and he wasn't a chemistry major in college, to put all of these new faces together. A team that lost 4 starters and its 5 leading scorers, and has 6 new players on the roster. So, and 2 of them are graduate transfers who are only there for 1 year. So it's a unique blend of kids that Roy has. Now, the good news to all of this is if you look at their roster, their 7-man rotation is pretty much set. Who starts among those 7 hasn't been decided yet, but you've got returning players, Leaky Black, Brandon Robinson, Garrison Brooks, and then you've got newcomers, Cole Anthony, obviously, Armando Bacot, and then Justin Pearson, Christian Keeling. So those 7 are going to be. There's nobody else in that roster, Joshua, that could crack that top 7, in my opinion. I mean, you've got Andrew Platek, who's back. You've got a couple of freshmen, Jeremiah Francis and Anthony Harris, who've both been battling injuries. So the question for Carolina is, and it's not that big of a deal because Roy might even switch the starting lineups around depending on who's playing well and what the matchups are in certain games. But the others, who will give Carolina that that traditional depth that they've had. Who would have be the guys that claim the other 2 or 3 spots to make them go 9 or 10 deep? Like Andrew Platek, obviously he's a junior and he's played well in spots. Sterling Manley, who's still battling physical problems, has got the body and the wingspan to play. And then KJ Smith, there's got to be a backup point guard somewhere. Now Leaky Black can play point guard. But KJ Smith, Kenny the Jet's son, got a scholarship, and he's been around, and he might be able. But Cole Anthony's not coming on the court unless he absolutely has to. That's just how important he is. Even more important to the team than Kobe White was last year, because you don't have the players around Cole Anthony that Kobe White had. So the good news is, Roy can be working with those 7 players pretty much every single day, because that's the blue team, I guess the white team. They put the white jerseys on the starters. So that group can be working to build cohesiveness, even though there are new players in there. There's 4 new players. So that's the good news. But overall, this team, I don't see it at this point anywhere close to the talent that was on the team last year, that were 5 starters, the leading 5 leading scorers, 4 starters, and Nasir Little are gone, and 6 new players joining. So it'd be interesting for Carolina. I think they picked a little high, but it's a brand name, and that's what preseason polls are for you guys. And I used to be interested in it, but I'm not anymore, because it really depends on what they do on the court.
Right.
Season starts.
So you just mentioned a lot about Cole Anthony, and he comes in with a lot of preseason accolades. 1 MVP of the McDonald's All-America game, the Jordan Classic, number 2 recruit in high school, son of a former national champion and NBA All-Star. How much pressure is there on Cole Anthony to produce at a high level? As you mentioned, he's going to be the best player on this team from day one. And is there any more added pressure after we saw Kobe White flourish as a freshman under Roy Williams a season ago?
No, I don't think so, because I think Cole Anthony is good enough. I mean, people since the 8th grade, coaches and people watching play said he was kind of a killer, which means that he was just a confident, dominating player. His father was Greg Anthony. He comes from a long line of athletes, and he's won all these awards, as you said, in big-time high school games. I don't see it as pressure. Now, anytime he has a bad game, Kobe White had games we couldn't miss, and then he had games we couldn't make one. So that'll probably happen. But as somebody who is, Kobe could, if Cole Anthony came to Carolina and Kobe White stayed, they could have played together in the backcourt, because Kobe's kind of a combo guard. Could have played 2 guard. I think Cole Anthony is more of the pure point guard. So he needs to distribute the ball better. And, Kobe was a pretty good ball handler. He would drive into double teams and sometimes take ill-advised shots. But he was a scorer in high school. I mean, he's the North Carolina high school scoring all-time leader. Cole Anthony's more of a pure point guard. He's a little smaller, but he can shoot it. He can also handle it, drive it, and do all the things a point guard can. And he's got that pedigree. I mean, he's, Phil Ford, 40 years ago, you're way too young to remember, but when Phil Ford came out of Rocky Mount High School and went to Carolina, his first 2 games were so bad that I was a young newspaper guy at the time, and I even wrote a column that said, asking, is this Ford and Edsel? The Edsel used to be the old Ford product that busted after a few years. And then look what happened to Phil Ford. So I don't think that there's pressure on Cole Anthony in the traditional sense. But will it take him a few games to adjust to the level of competition? He's been playing against not a very good or very deep bench in practice every day. He did really well against Villanova in the so-called secret scrimmage, which isn't so secret anymore.
Right.
The other day. So that was a good indication. that he can play. I don't think. The interesting thing, it'll be 2 years in a row that Roy has a point guard that's gone one and done, and then who's he got bringing in next year? It's really turned college basketball upside down, and now with Carolina getting through that academic situation that kept a lot of 5-stars from coming because of negative recruiting, he's going to start, as Coach K said, at the end of the year last year, I think the second Duke Carolina game, they asked him about the one and dones, and he said Carolina will find out. I mean, he was saying that he knew Carolina was out of the woods now and this other thing, and now they're going to start getting these kids. Now, whether they'll take 3 and 4 in 1 year like Krzyzewski has done, I don't know, but Carolina will start getting him, and the game is, the whole thing has really changed. I hate it because the fans don't get a chance to really embrace and get to know these kids as family, and that, to me, that's what college basketball was about all those years. So, but it is what it is, and ACC basketball used to be 7 teams at one point. Now it's 17 or 15 or something like that. So we'll see. It will be an exciting season. I think Carolina's overrated at this point. Duke might even be overrated, but Duke gets the brand name, and they have the guys coming in 5-stars. But this team at Duke, you can't tell me that this team that they got coming in this year is anywhere close to Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett, and then the year before. So I think it's wide open. Virginia's really going to be good again. They're so well coached. They have under the radar guys. Florida State's always got talent. So it'll be another kind of wide open year with 20 ACC games. That's going to be a grind, and it really depends. It doesn't depend as much because they used to have, I think, 5 opponents that they played on the road and 5 opponents that they played at home only in single games. And if you get, like Carolina got a big break last year because the 5 games that they played on the road were against the weakest teams in the ACC. The 5 games they played at home were against the best teams in the ACC. So I haven't really studied it and looked at the schedule this year to see how that falls. But when you get into January, every game is an ACC game. I don't think, maybe Duke is the only team that I've seen plays a non-conference game. They always play that game against St. John's. But maybe not, because Duke is also the only team that doesn't start in November or December. So I had to look that far down the schedule.
I was going to ask you.
Carolina's going to. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you. You mentioned the 20 ACC games. Are you a fan of Carolina playing an ACC game to start the season? They play one in December. They go to Virginia. Are you a fan of that, or I know you're a traditionalist ACC guy, so you'd much rather it be in January only, correct?
Yeah, really, but I mean, I understand why coaches take what Vitale used to call the cupcakes. They want to build some confidence in their team, and they want to build some wins on their resume. But I don't think 20 games is going to matter that much. It's going to be a little bit more of a grind in January. As you said, Carolina has, is it 2 that they have before January? They play Virginia. They play Virginia in December and Notre Dame in November. So for them, after January, is going to be pretty much what it's been 18 games in the past. I don't really see, I'm not looking at Duke's schedule, but Duke doesn't play an ACC game until January. So how are they going to get their 20 games in when Carolina, starting January 4th against Georgia Tech, and I'm looking down the list here, they don't play a non-conference game. So how is Duke going to get 20 games in January and February and March when it looks like there's only room for 18? So that's a pretty good question. And they don't get to play the ACC. I mean, they open against Kansas on national TV, so you can talk about that. But, they don't get to play an ACC game until they play 2 months of basketball, which is an advantage for them. And they're the only one that gets it because they're the 15, there's 15 teams, and the other 14 play each other. They all play games in November and December. So, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and with Carolina, they have got